Yo, what's good with y'all, man? We are officially 2.5 weeks away from the 2025-26 NBA season, man. And I, for one, cannot wait for the season to begin. This has been one of the more longer off seasons because there was no Olympics like last year. It was one of the most driest off seasons of all time, I feel like. And bro, if you're a Warriors fan, man, you had to have sat tight because besides the last 2 days, there was no Warriors activity going on whatsoever. Also, excuse me for talking a bit weird. I bit my tongue the other day. So, yeah. We got the 6 things you need to know before the 2026 NBA season, man. Let's go ahead and check this out.
These are the 6 things you need to know before the NBA season officially tips off. And the first one is how the Golden State Warriors might actually be sneaky good this year. On paper...
Bro, why does it have to be sneaky good? Just say we're good, bro. Like, have y'all seen the signings? Bro, if y'all didn't get hyped with the Al Horford signing, bro, look at the Seth Curry signing, bro. D'Anthony Melton. Like, bro, those are solid-ass signings, bro. Plus, we get a full season of Butler and Curry now. Like, bro.
The roster looks almost identical
the only thing
to last season.
That can stop us is injuries, man.
Al Horford in, Kevon Looney out. But we can't forget, that was already a really good team, particularly after they made the move for Jimmy Butler. When you put Butler alongside of Steph and Draymond, suddenly Golden State...
What do y'all think of Kuminga, man? Kuminga re-signed with the Warriors fans, bro. What do y'all think?
23-8 with that trio all together. Without Butler, they were painfully average. A plus 0.7 net rating, an offensive rating of 113.9, and a defensive rating of 113.2. Nothing special. But the second Jimmy Butler touchdown in
bro,
State,
y'all gotta realize, bro, that 12-3 start or something that we had in the season, bro, that was before Melton got injured too. So, and now we got D'Anthony Melton back, so bro.
Elite territory, basically overnight. With Butler, the net rating skyrocketed up to 9.6, the offensive rating up to 117.8, and the defense really locked in.
I've seen a lot of people talk about how once Kuminga's contract becomes tradable, which is like January,
honestly,
we might get Wiggins back or something like that, bro. Like, I don't know about that, bro.
Since the addition of Kevin Durant, and I don't say that lightly. Last season, he gave the team everything they were missing. Secondary shot creation, a switchable defender, smart playmaking, and maybe the most
I'm gonna be honest though, it
piece
seemed like Jimmy was way too pass first at times. There were times where I just wanted him to take over.
Per 100
but yeah.
possessions, in the 99th percentile, compared to just 16.7 without him, which was in the 15th percentile.
Well, yeah, that is one thing I noticed. Way more free throws, even for Steph.
Completely changed their
damn, I really can't talk, bro.
As well. Without him, they were in the middle of the pack when it came to forcing turnovers. But with him, they became the best team in the NBA at forcing turnovers. He just fits their system perfectly. Then when you look at the depth around that nucleus, it's honestly pretty impressive. Brandon Pajemski, Moses Moody, Buddy Hield, Al Horford, Gary Payton II, D'Anthony Melton, and now Jonathan Kuminga back in the mix as well. That's a really solid
I'm a bit
rotation.
skeptical to see how Kuminga's gonna do.
And contribute to
if he didn't get minutes last year, bro, it's gonna be hard to see him get minutes this year, man. Unless he really impresses in training camp.
Locked in for the regular season and is primed for the playoffs. Golden State absolutely
please God,
can beat anybody on any given
no
night.
injuries to anybody on the team, man. This entire season, bro. Please, especially Steph and Butler and Draymond and everybody else.
Probably going to end up somewhere in the middle of the West. Maybe
I sound like I got something stuck in my mouth, bro.
But honestly, I don't care.
But yeah, I bit my tongue playing basketball the other day. I got a shoulder right to the mouth.
And you're looking down
on a
the other side
post-up
of the floor and see Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler. That's one of the more terrifying sights in the NBA right now. And because of that, the Warriors are absolutely capable of winning the championship.
For sure, man.
The second thing
don't count us out.
Coming into this season is how I actually believe
Thunder got even better.
Thunder are about to get
how?
even better. And
based on just player development, I guess.
About a team that just won 68 games and an NBA championship, but it's true. The scary part about last year's
But 68 and 14 is crazy though.
And they're still so young that natural development alone is going to make this team better. Chet Holmgren is the perfect example of that.
Bro,
he only played 32 games.
I seen Chet be ranked number 24 on ESPN's top 100, bro. That is crazy overrating, man. J-Dub at 11, bro. Like,
his jump shot looked clunky, and yet he was still able to be a monster on the defensive side of the floor. So now, with
I don't know about that one, bro.
To get healthy and his
I've seen a lot of crazy, bro. Even Wemby at friggin' 5 or 5, I think.
Him confidently knocking down threes, cutting hard to the rim, and even putting the ball on the floor and creating not only for himself but for others as well. That's how good I'm talking. And this is
I'm sorry for talking over the video.
As dominant as OKC's defense was last season, there were times in the playoffs where they struggled to generate enough offense outside of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So, a healthy, more dynamic Chet Holmgren could change the outlook completely. But he's not the only one. Jalen Williams is another guy who I expect to take a big step forward. He had massive moments in the playoffs last season, and he did all of it while playing through a torn ligament in his hand. He even played center for stretches during the regular season when the three bigs were hurt, and in the NBA Finals when the Pacers tried to take away.
I'm gonna be honest, bro. J-Dub was one of the dudes who I constantly doubted, and he constantly proved me wrong, bro. He was really good.
Torching Aaron.
He almost deserved the Finals MVP over Shai.
Rest of their young core, even
but number 11,
we're going to see from Cason Wallace, Aaron Wiggins,
player of
Mitchell,
in the next season, I don't think so.
Still going to be
I'm pretty sure he'll be an all-star, bro.
Just going to be naturally better.
I don't know about number 11, man.
And that's absolutely terrifying. So when you combine the internal growth with hopefully a better luck when it comes to health, 70 wins is definitely on the table.
70 wins
was the time to
beat the Oklahoma
City Thunder when
it's
they
gonna
were
be tough.
still inexperienced.
They can do it though. I feel like OKC can do it. But here's the thing though.
It feels
there's been a lot of parity in the NBA over the last 7 years. I feel like there hasn't been a single back-to-back winner since the Warriors in 2018, man. Ever since then, it's been new winners, a unique winner, and nobody has won it twice in that period. So I don't know if OKC can repeat, man. Based on the statistics,
whole team
I don't think they're repeating.
Career, and they've got the know-how to do it again.
I mean, look at the Celtics. Because the main thing is injuries, right? You play the most basketball out of everybody, which means you're more prone to fatigue and wear and tear and stuff like that.
Know before the NBA season tips off is how Jason Tatum might actually be back sooner than we all thought.
Yeah, I've seen this. I've seen he already started hooping, bro.
Boston Celtics. In the second round series against the Knicks, they dropped the first 2 games at home, managed to steal one in game 3, and then everything changed in game 4. With just over 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter, Boston was down by 7 when Tatum tried to make a pass to Jaylen Brown. Brown lost the ball, and Tatum lunged forward to try and get it back from OG.
That's crazy, man.
And that's when the Achilles tear happened. It was absolutely brutal. Sure, the Celtics were probably going to lose that game and the series anyway, but seeing your best player go down with the Achilles injury,
bro, that is such an unexpected Achilles injury too. Like with Dame, you had signs from last year with the Tyrese, he had the calf strain, bro. Tatum, it was just out of nowhere. Or did he have a calf injury before that?
To be based in New York, and Tatum was able to get the surgery literally within hours of the injury. He didn't have to fly, which can make swelling worse in the early stages, and he got the procedure done faster than just about anybody else has ever done before. It was almost a perfect set of circumstances following a horrendous set of circumstances. Fast forward 19 weeks, and Jason Tatum is doing something no one could have foreseen. Instead of the light jogging or walking you'd typically see at this stage, he's already back on the court.
That's crazy though.
Getting back,
and he got braids too.
Workouts. I'm telling you right now, This is not normal. He looks way ahead of schedule, which raises the obvious
Hey,
question.
but I don't want him to rush it though. I don't want to rush it. Like, look at Klay Thompson, man. He had the ACL, ended up, he didn't rush it, but he basically tore his Achilles right when he was about to come back, bro. I don't want something like that to happen to Tatum, man.
But if you're asking whether
Tatum, bro, take your time, man.
to go before the playoffs, I really think the answer is going to be yes. He's already training now, so by December or January, he could be scrimmaging. And if that's the case, how could you not try to get him back on the floor, say around March?
But can the Celtics stay afloat until then, though? And even if he comes back, do they have the pieces to push for a finals? Like, I don't think so.
The way he's been talking in these videos, it's obvious he's been thinking about returning ever since the injury happened. And
they don't have him near
a
championship roster, bro.
Of course, he can't rush it, and he isn't. But I genuinely believe Tatum is going to be back on the floor before the regular season concludes. Now, the fourth thing you need to know before the season begins is how the Denver Nuggets seem to be completely changing their approach to
Bro, Denver Nuggets had one of the better off seasons this season, man.
That ability to flip the switch once
they brought back some key players like Bruce Brown.
And suddenly
they brought in Tim Hardaway Jr.
This year, it really sounds
they have Jonas
like
Valanciunas, who's actually a solid backup center.
Focus and effort from day one. Christian Brown talked about it extensively on Media Day, and what he said has actually gotten me pretty excited. He explained that he's always thought the Nuggets had a pretty solid defensive structure in place, and that the main difference between the regular season and the postseason really had just been about their energy and effort. That's why.
And they got Cam Johnson too.
Look a lot better
I'm gonna be honest,
compared to the regular season.
I don't really know how Cam Johnson fits with this Nuggets team.
That same playoff energy,
I feel like in-form MPJ was better, but MPJ is obviously very inconsistent. So we'll have to see.
Blow teams out more and finish as a top 10 defense. That's the goal.
Also, isn't it crazy that Westbrook hasn't been signed yet, bro?
And this overall change in approach isn't just with the starters. The confidence in the bench unit is night and day compared to last season. Jonas Valanciunas is expected to be the focal point of what the second unit does, almost operating as a mini Jokic, running offense through him in the post, letting him create for others. It gives the bench unit a real identity instead of just throwing guys out.
I mean, I wouldn't blaze Valanciunas that much, but he's solid.
This could be the best bench.
Previously, what DeAndre Jordan was their backup center, bro, and the minutes Jokic was off the floor was night and day compared to when he was on the floor. So we'll see.
Things got so bad behind the scenes that they ended up firing both the coach and the GM late in the year because the locker room vibes were reportedly terrible. However, newly appointed coach David Adelman came in and steadied the ship. But even he admitted it can't just be on the coach to keep everyone together. It has to come from your leaders. Jokic, Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, and Christian Brown. He name-dropped those guys. He said, these are the guys who need to keep the group connected and to keep the energy right as well. Even Jokic, who usually just leads by example, said during Media Day that he's going to be more vocal with the guys this season. He noticed how well the team responds when he does actually speak up, so he's going to lean into that. And the same goes for Jamal Murray.
What is this hairstyle, bro? Jamal Murray, bro.
Cruising through the regular
this ain't it, man.
Before turning it on in the playoffs. But early reports from
go back to the afro. Not even afro, but like go back to your old hairstyle, bro. This ain't it, man.
Been in to start a season for years. So if Jamal can bring that consistent energy for an entire season, he could potentially make his first All-Star team, and Denver's ceiling.
Bro, we've been saying that for how long? About Jamal Murray can potentially make his first All-Star game, bro. We've been saying that for like the past 5 years, bro. We gotta give it up at some point, bro. He's just not gonna make the All-Star game, I feel like, bro. Like, he's just gonna be another CJ McCollum, bro.
Nuggets just feel far more locked in.
Like, we've been saying that every year since 2020, man.
And if this is
literally, bro, since the bubble.
Kind of playoff focus for
I don't think he's making it, man.
That is a terrifying.
He's definitely a playoff riser, but I don't see him being an All-Star caliber player in the regular season.
The fifth thing you need to know before the NBA season begins is just what the Houston Rockets are going to do at the point guard spot, and whether or not they're going to be good enough to contend without Fred VanVleet.
Come on,
The
man.
ACL injury
Of course they are
is
going to be
shocking,
good
and
enough,
what
man.
makes it
Fred
even
VanVleet
worse
he's
that this
cool.
Rockets team
He ain't all
didn't
that,
see
though. They got a lot of
the game
pieces.
before it all happened. Since then, opinions have been split. Some people are convinced that Houston still has enough to contend even without him, while others are convinced that this Fred VanVleet absence takes them out of contention.
Nah, I don't think
the
so, bro.
argument for
They got
Houston
Eamon
still
Thompson.
being
He can run the
fine
point.
comes down to their depth. The belief is that they can cover VanVleet's absence by committee, which is what we've been hearing coming out of training camp. But on the flip side, there's a real concern about the ball handling against elite point of attack defenders who are going to try and pressure these guys 94 feet. Do the Rockets really have enough steady guards to survive without coughing up the ball? Or
Bro,
messing up
honestly, the
entire
only thing the
offensive
Rockets were
flow
lacking
by
last
not getting
season is a
down the
go-to
court
scorer, and
fast
they got that in
enough.
KD,
That's
bro.
where Amen
So
Thompson and
they're
Kevin
going to be
Durant
pretty
come
scary
in
this
as
season, bro.
makeshift point guards. Sure, both can handle the ball, but the question is whether you trust them against the best defenders in the league in these high-stakes moments. Beyond those two, the only true point guards left on the roster are Aaron Holiday and Reed Shepherd. Holiday is a solid veteran piece who can steady things, but he really doesn't give you much in the way of playmaking or shooting. Reed Shepherd, on the other hand, is an unknown. He was the 3rd overall pick a year ago, but he barely played as a rookie. Mostly,
I mean, I give Reed Shepherd a shot, bro.
In his G
This is
League
kind of
minutes
his time to
and some
shine.
of the NBA minutes he did get,
Is he even? I thought
did
he was a
show
shooting guard. I didn't know he was a
flashes
point
of
guard.
solid offensive talent. The issue is, this isn't a low-pressure situation for him to ease into. If you're asking Reed Shepherd to step into the starting role and fill in for VanVleet, you're pretty much
Crazy
handing
how
the keys to a championship
KD
offense to someone
went from
who
having
really
no
hasn't
point
even
guards
played
in
NBA basketball yet.
in
That
Phoenix
is
to
a
now
massive
having no
gamble
point guards in
and
Houston,
probably
bro.
a bridge too far.
It's actually
So,
crazy,
what are the
man.
Rockets going to do? A trade is always another option, using some more of the assets they still have, but that feels like a last resort move if things are really
Man, they can
falling
just
apart
sign
in the
Westbrook,
regular
bro, at
season.
that
I
point.
think it's going to be a
But I don't
mess.
think
Running
KD
the
wants
offense
Westbrook
by
on the
committee
team.
while slowly working Shepherd into more minutes. Most likely off the
Westbrook
bench.
might be the
As
best
to their
signing for them,
title
though.
chances,
They can
I do
get him
think
on a
they've
minimum.
taken a hit. VanVleet isn't the guy who's putting up flashy numbers every night, but he was absolutely crucial to their offensive flow. Calmly running pick and rolls, bringing the ball up the floor against pressure, keeping everybody organized, making the right passes, and knocking down open threes. You can't replace all of that with just one player, not without making a move. Most likely, Amen Thompson is going to be the primary makeshift point guard, and while that could provide him some valuable experience, I just hope it doesn't stunt his development. What we saw from him last year off the ball was really exciting, and I wonder whether forcing him into this new role is really what's best for his individual improvement. However, only time will tell if the Rockets can survive this stretch and come out the other side even stronger.
But they'll be good, bro. They're still going to be a top 4 seed.
Ends up being the thing that really pushes them out of title contention. Now, the sixth thing
we need to know
before this NBA season tips off is just how different the Milwaukee Bucks really look. And honestly, I'm loving it. Giannis hasn't even been to training camp yet because he's sick back in Greece. But reportedly, he's going to join the team tomorrow. But in the meantime, that's actually given the rest of the roster a great chance to work through.
Bro, what is he? They only signed Miles Turner, bro. What else did they do?
On the floor. Doc Rivers even said that these stretches are going to be the most important minutes of the year. But what stood out to me was something else he said. Last season, depending on what lineup was out there, the Bucks looked like a completely different team. This season, the coaching staff is making it clear that they want everybody to play the same style no matter who's on the floor. And it's that style that's got me really excited. The way Milwaukee seems to be approaching things is very reminiscent.
This guy gotta be a Milwaukee fan, bro. Not gonna lie, because I feel like anybody else would probably not even bat an eye at what the Milwaukee Bucks did this offseason, bro. They signed Miles Turner, bro. But other than that, what did they do, bro?
Season. And to
Am I
make it
missing
easier
something?
on themselves, the Bucks now have Miles Turner, who's already been a huge voice in training camp about exactly how they can up the pace. That's really exciting because last year, whenever Milwaukee actually did play with pace, they looked significantly better, especially in any lineup that featured Kevin Porter Jr. and Giannis together. Those two had instant chemistry, and Doc Rivers is leaning into it this year. From what's being reported, KPJ is going to be the starting point guard alongside of Gary Trent Jr., AJ Green, Giannis and Turner. Kyle Kuzma's situation is interesting because fans are very split on him, but the front office made it clear that they want to see him play
Kuzma
more
is
minutes
trash,
at the
bro.
floor.
He
The
put
reality
up,
is that
bro.
he's
He
not
put up
taking
a Tony
the
Snell
Giannis,
in
so
last
that
year's
means Snell is
playoffs.
probably
Like, come
coming
on,
off the
man.
bench, which I think is going to be better for the team as a whole. Another part of the new system that should not be overlooked is the added three-point shooting. Last season,
Bro, he
Milwaukee was
gassing
the
it
best
up,
team
bro.
in the NBA when
What?
it came to three-point percentage, but they were way down in attempts per game.
They don't. They
That
lost
was a
Brook
massive
Lopez as well. Brook
missed
Lopez went to the
opportunity. And
Clippers,
new
man.
faster-paced system should be
This
able
guy
to
gotta be a
generate
Bucks
lot
fan, bro.
more looks from deep every single night, which perfectly plays to the roster's strengths. Defensively, I think they have one of the best front courts in the NBA with Giannis and Turner. But beyond that, their entire defensive
Y'all
approach
giving Turner
seems
way
to
too much
warrant
credit,
this
bro.
season as well. Last season, they just did not feel aggressive, something that was exposed in a massive way when Indiana basically manhandled them in that first round series. This season, it sounds like they're pushing full court pressure more often, with guys like Cole Anthony and Ryan Rollins being real catalysts for that change.
Cole
Both
Anthony?
of them are expected to get ready.
He signed with the Bucks, or did they trade
and
for
are
him?
actually going to be on the floor together. Miles Turner has also been especially important here because this aggressive defensive style is again something right out of Indiana's playbook. Doc Rivers has already pointed out that teams are usually hesitant to pick Giannis up full court because if he gets by you, it's basically game over. So if the Bucks can flip that on its head, crank up the pace, and start pressuring opponents the length of the floor, that could be their own little version of Moneyball, stealing extra possessions and maybe ultimately wins. The more I hear about this group, the more I'm starting to believe that they are one of the most underrated teams in the league. Jeff Teague has them winning 50 games, and he's not alone. Mark Stein from the Athletic
Jeff
had
Teague
the
has
Bucks
them
as
winning
the 4
50?
seed in the East
Bro.
this season, and for me, I think the 3 seed is up for grabs, as Milwaukee could very realistically be right in the mix once again. But while Milwaukee's hype seems to be quietly building, they're not the only team in that boat. Golden State has been getting a lot more love recently as well, and in my opinion,
Hey, that's gonna be it for the video, bro. Let me know what your favorite team is, and let me know what team you think are sleepers to start the season. Like, what team are we sleeping on? Me personally, I think the Pelicans are gonna be super good this year, bro. Poole and a healthy Zion, bro. I'm excited to see them. But yeah, that's gonna be it for the video, man. I'll see you guys next time.